by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. 40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Truck Series here on Green White Checkered TV. We've got 75 laps here at Talladega, the 2.66 mile oval, the Superspeedway, and we are excited to bring you week 4 of the action here. Again, on Friday nights, it's definitely been an action-packed season so far. 3 races in, we haven't had any repeat winners yet. And definitely a lot of front runners looking to have another good night here tonight. So you'll have myself, Boomer Logan, in the booth, and my buddy Brandon Briggs alongside me tonight, one of the drivers in the Sunday night series and broadcaster here on Friday nights. Brandon, how's it going tonight?
That's going great. Glad to be back here with you in the booth and ready to be back here at Talladega for our second trip here on the schedule here with Area 51. And ready to see the adjustments some of these drivers maybe have made from the opening race. The last time we were here was the first race of the season, and Robert Rock picked up the win there in that race. So excited to see maybe what these drivers have learned. We've had, as you said, an exciting season, and it was even that brought the same intensity last week at Atlanta. So excited to see what these drivers can do here tonight, as most of them are finishing up their qualifying times and getting ready to grid.
Yeah, I got about a minute left at the qualifying session here, and we will bring that grid to you, and we'll kick things off for tonight's festivities. Obviously, coming to Talladega a few more times than we go to any other racetrack. Talladega and Daytona being kind of the bread and butter OG super speedways, if you will. And we do have Atlanta sprinkled in here. We got four. We'll go to Atlanta 4 times. Obviously, we'll go to iRacing Superspeedway just once. And then Daytona and Talladega will go to the most. So over the 14 race season here for that first season of 2026. And yeah, I'm looking forward to tonight. About 30 seconds now left in qualifying before we can bring up that starting grid for you here. But so rumor has it, Brandon, not sure if it's a setup change or just a fuel load change for tonight, but it sounds like we're going to be making quite a few pit stops here tonight.
Yeah, I did hear it's going to be a little bit less than the last time we were here, and so maybe what those guys were thinking last time, as we talked about, maybe getting back to that notebook, is going to be a little bit different. But I think the real big thing to focus on was the first time we came here. Boom, was the third lane, right up against the wall, was the real dominant lane. We got to see guys like Cody Nagels and Robert Rock be out front and really just get that big momentum and head of steam on that outside lane and stay out there. So that's where my focus is going to be here tonight. The pit stops are going to come, but them green flag pit stops, keep your eye on those.
Well, speaking of that name you mentioned there, Cody Nagels, that's going to be a familiar face, and he is going to be at the top of the charts for the qualifying session for tonight. He's going to start P1 on the field. Dean Wilkinson, last week's winner, is going to be in that 55 truck, coming down to less than a thousandth of a second between the two for that pole position, but Cody grabs it there, gets that bonus point for himself. Austin McCarthy, the rookie here for Area 51, having a really strong showing so far at the beginning of his tenure here, racing with us here, and a solid starting spot there in P3. Everett Lane is going to be to his outside, and they are third and fourth, just about dead even to less than a thousandth of a second for those two places there. Charles Johnson is going to be in your fifth starting spot, and the first winner of the season, Robert Rock, will be to his outside. We've got Tom Dixon in the 411 inside of Bob Fitzgerald. They're going to share row number 4 together, and we've got Thomas Holder alongside Eric Laurie in the 071 rounding out the top 10 for tonight. Vicente Guerrero is going to be trying to get up to his teammate Cody Nagels there at the top of this page, but he's at the bottom there in row 6. Paul Witt just to his outside there in that number 429 truck for tonight. We got a few more names to bring up here. Doug Webb in the 714. Him and Justin Davis will be side by side. They share the 7th row of tonight's starting grid. Your top 15 rounded out by Gary Huffines, and William Roberts will be P16 in that number 21. Then we've got the rest that elected not to take qualifying time. That's going to include Philip Bridgman and Paul Turner side by side, row number 9. And the final row of your grid will be Gael Brooks and Bud Steele, some teammates that'll be running together for tonight, trying to make their way up from the back of the pack. And it looks like we are rolling. Pace car is off, and we are just about ready for the green flag here, Brandon.
Yeah, that 55 with Dean Wilkinson looking like he's trying to pick up right where he left off last week at Atlanta, picking up the win. Him and Charles Johnson finished 1-2, so big head of steam for that 55, but also for the young gun, the rookie in the field. That 99 of Austin McCarthy placed himself up there third. It's qualifying is tough. I'm not a big fan of it, probably because I'm not very good at it, but he put his name right up there for the last couple of weeks with these heavy hitters. So the yellow bumper sticker, as I say, not really paying a factor here with him, showing some pretty good experience.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously he's got some experience before coming to Area 51, but yeah, Austin's been really fun to watch. Obviously a new name for us. He's had some really good-looking trucks out there too, and obviously he's got the Culver's Wisconsin scheme for tonight, so that's exciting. But yeah, I mean, definitely a lot to say for how well he's fired off here in the series, and it's been fun to get to see him come up to speed so quickly. And I mean, there are a lot of heavy hitters, and obviously only 20 trucks in the field tonight, but there's still quite a bit of talent here when it comes to super speedway racing, and we'll have to keep an eye on just about everybody tonight, and we're gonna have some fun here, but. It'll be just a moment. Cody Nagels will be leading us to the green flag again, grabbing that pole position. Bonus point for him for the race even start. So that's 16, and the 55 will be that front row. And who knows? Could be action packed. Going to be a lot of pit stops. We know that for sure, and it's going to be a fun one here tonight.
Yeah, this long triover right here, a little bit different than Daytona. Got to wait, 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 and here we go. We are back to green. Looks like it's gonna be a pretty good start. Everybody gonna get up to speed nice and good here. Everett Lane right on the back of the 55. Very good start here by this outside. Boom.
Yeah, we'll see if that third lane starts to form. That was really the key for the first race that we had of the season. Obviously, Robert Rock getting that victory here at Talladega earlier, a couple weeks ago. And I mean, we really saw a train kind of form, and looks like Cody Nagels is going to jump out of line here. He's going to go to the back of the pack and try to make his way forward, maybe with a few more teammates. And there you go. You see him coming right in front of the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. They're going to line up nose to tail, and that's going to put Everett Lane at the point ahead of Robert Rock and Bob Fitzgerald in the outside lane.
Yeah, very interesting move there by Cody. Normally, that 14 would have no problem finding his way to the front, especially here at Talladega. He's had quite a bit of luck here at Talladega, and also at Daytona picking up a win there this season. But yeah, odd move there by those guys. Normally, those guys are the ones you see stay out front and try to click off just not even laps led, but just keeping your truck up front, keeping it clean. So different strategy already coming into these guys, and it could be about that fuel that you talked about. Boom, maybe get with a teammate and know you're not going to get ran over, or save just a little bit of fuel, and you can have that comfortability compared to being up there front where everybody's going to be up there trying to get that lap led, or just trying to be up there to be aggressive. So some early strategies already kicking in for some of these drivers.
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, with super speedway racing, you can either be the one that's trying to lead every single lap, or you can be the one in the back trying to kind of ride it out, feel it out. Obviously, Guy Al Brooks back there in 17th position, he's pretty famous, I'd say, for being one of the guys that saves fuel and tries to be in the back and be there after all the chaos has happened and capitalize, and has been fairly successful at that in the past. So it's there's really no one single way to win super speedway racing. And obviously, I'll steal Gabe Butler's line. Obviously, long-time tenured driver here, champion Gabe Butler. He always says you're nothing without your teammates, and that makes a huge difference. And that's part of it. There's so many things that you just have to execute between the pit stops and understanding how the runs form. I mean, yes, it is a different style of racing that some may say takes less talent than other styles of like short track or intermediate oval racing, but there's definitely a craft to it, and you'll see that cream rise to the top more often than not. But there is a lot of unpredictability that comes with it as well.
Yeah, boom. And what we're seeing immediately is what we seen the very first race here at Talladega. The outside lane right now is being the dominant. I don't know if that's maybe the inside just doesn't have the ump, or is maybe that inside line saving fuel. A lot of those guys, we seen Dean up there on the outside. He got that lap led, then he dropped to that inside lane. We're going to see another driver do it here, or is this just maybe that inside lane doesn't have the power? But something to look at is the 55 gives somebody a good little shot there, keeps it straight. But with that big hit, I've seen it with Everett, been paying attention to him. These trucks look like they can handle it. These guys have been pretty pushy up there, and keeping that line aggressive is maybe a little bit of three wide. I thought could have been coming here.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, obviously, Austin McCarthy's given a really strong push to Johnson there at the front of the pack, but I mean, it was the 411 and the 55. definitely two tenured veterans here pushing in the bottom lane. So it is interesting how much more power the top seems to have. And the 55 is making a little bit of headway there with Bob Fitzgerald as he's pushing him towards the front again. But yeah, it's kind of rare that you see a 4-truck breakaway in the outside lane. And we did see a lot of this in the first race of the season. And that was part of how, obviously, Robert Rock was able to hold on and get the victory. Just riding that outside lane, and also some incredible execution during the pit stops, and always had good help around him. So it makes a big difference. But yeah, we'll be trying to see where they end up. I know we're hearing reports of about 14 laps of fuel at full send. So for Charles Johnson, who's been up towards the front for most of it, he will probably be in that boat. And we see a little bit of a third line starting to form there as the 10 of Davis is going to head up there. Justin, that is, and he's going to try and do what he can with Gary Huffines in tow, and the 21 of Roberts as well. And the first group kind of stays in the middle. We do still have that inside lane, couple guys trying to fade towards the middle, and almost nobody in the bottom lane within the top 10 right now.
Yeah, but I see some guys forming back here, some teammates. Justin Davis, looks like Gary Huffines. Those guys decided to go all the way up to the wall, taking the longest way around here, but they're making some progress as that little 4-truck team right there is these guys are going to be 3 wide. The leaders up here are just single file, but we go back around 5th, 6th place. These guys back here are racing. That's one, fun thing about Area 51. These guys, they're definitely going to race. It doesn't matter if it's for, first or sixth, they're gonna put on one heck of a show for us.
Yeah, and look at this. I mean, there's about a half of a second gap from the back bumper of the 171 to the 071. And it's kind of crazy that these guys are able to pull away this much. But yeah, I mean, it's something about that middle to top lane that makes a huge difference here for whatever reason with the current aero and package that we have in the sim right now. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to see how much of a breakaway these guys are having to the pack. But there's a big head of steam now coming on the outside with the 10 and the 98 hooked up, and they're going to see what they can do to get all the way to the front here on lap number 8.
Yeah, and ooh, it's gonna get tight right there. Everlane gonna make the jump to the bottom here to try to make this move to get to the front. He's seen that head of steam coming on that inside lane and decides to jump down there. But what it kind of seemed like to me, Boom, is that old style of super speedway racing where you let those guys get out so far that when you make that run, they kind of just got to hold their ground. If not, they're gonna tear up some race trucks. So maybe some drivers experiment with that with these trucks. We already talked about the fuel being changed up. um, the admins, they all constantly trying to work on these setups to bring a different truck and a different kind of vibe. Is ooh that inside lane right there. Those guys really pushing that side draft. So maybe these guys right here just trying to see what can make their truck work here in this first run. If we do have a green flag run, sometimes some trucks can get broke up. So maybe this is that moment where you say, "Hey, I got some fast repairs in my back pocket. And let's see what we can do while we're in the pack still."
Yeah, definitely having 2 fast repairs is helpful. It really kind of ups the ante as far as, conservative. There's no reason to need to be conservative, especially towards the beginning of a race. And now, we do see that. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the notebook of, what plays you want to do. If you're in what position, you're pushing somebody, you're getting a push. If you jump out of line in a certain spot, or there's all sorts of stuff. But these guys are doing that. They're learning. And because they have those fast repairs, it does lead to a little bit, I wouldn't even say aggression, but, some could call it that. But really, you see, a lot of what we're seeing here where people are trying to move around, trying different lines, trying to link up with different partners, and whoever they can draft with, and try to see, hey, what's going to, make my truck work the best. And how do I, at the end of the day, how do I be the one that has all the knowledge and the information that's going to make me, or give me the knowledge to make that best move possible for myself to go ahead and try to win this race at the end of 75 laps.
Yeah, and I think that it's a little bit of something, maybe what Cody and those guys decided, was let's see what type of truck we got. We got some big moves up front here. But we seen him and Vicente put on one heck of a show last Friday night. Came up just a couple spots short, but those guys were down around 15 seconds, I think it was, and under all those green flag pit stops, we're almost there at the end. So we know those guys can make it from the back to the front, and I think that's like you said, boom. These guys trying to experiment. They're trying to figure out, what's the plan here. Is these guys got right back to, it looks like the old Talladega.
Oh yeah, there we go. Starting to pack up a little bit more now, but yeah, still pretty solid in that middle lane there. Charles Johnson now jumps to the bottom with Gary Huffines in the 21 of William Roberts. In the middle lane, that is the 10 and the 7 of Bridgman as they are trying to get back up to the front. Robert Rock is going to be up there with them as well, 3 wide, a little further on back just for one row deep as Everett Lane's there all the way to the outside. And for the most part, though, we stay 2 by 2. We're going to be coming to 12, or lap 12, I should say. So probably within the next 2-3 laps, that window is going to open. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to stretch it to 15 laps. Obviously, 75 is evenly divisible by 15, which helps, but that kind of breaks it up into 5 stints, 4 pit stops. I don't know if these guys are going to be able to go that far just based on the numbers that we were seeing in practice, but I'm curious if anybody, obviously the 14 and the 16 dropped back to come find Vicente there at the beginning. Who knows, maybe he says, hey, I want to save this fuel and I want to try and stretch it one more lap, but we'll know in a couple laps if they can do it in 4 stops or if they're going to have to stretch it to 5.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen in Atlanta is a very different track than what we're at now. But what one part, of these pit stops is coming into pit road and leaving, how quick you can get to that cone without making a penalty, and then leaving without making a penalty and not making a mistake while you do that. So we seen last week Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson. They gained, as you brought up with the pit, how they Gael got us all set up with the differential, is that those guys gained half a second just making it from the pit entry cone around to pit stop or to the pit entrance. So that's going to pay a big factor here, as we can see this team right here. They've got all nose to tail, and if they're going to pull maybe this lap or the next lap.
Yeah, you can see everyone really organized in that inside lane, pretty indicative that somebody's going to probably come down pit road. Maybe not this time, but should be next time by. Gary Huffines will get some bonus points here for laps led. You get 1 bonus point for leading a lap, and you get 1 for leading the most laps as well. And he's got Justin Davis helping him out there. Couple stragglers there in the outside lane, and that appears to be the 429, the 16, and the 14. So these guys are going to be committed to going at least probably 1 more lap than everybody else, and they are moving towards the front here and in a hurry as we come down the back straightaway for lap 14.
Yeah, I think we're seeing why they jump to the back there, save a little bit of fuel, make sure you can get to that extra lap, and if you can do that over a progress of 4 pit stops, that last very pit stop is going to be very, very short combined to everybody else. But we're going to have a huge pack coming this time by.
Yeah, it's going to include Robert Rock, and then we've got Charles Johnson, Everett Lane, Eric Laurie, Austin McCarthy, Thomas Holder, Dean Wilkinson, Tom Dixon, Doug Webb, and Bob Fitzgerald. Had a little bit of a spin, but he gets okay onto pit road. And that is going to be exactly half of your field, as Paul Witt now is your leader. Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero are coming down the back straight away, and we'll see if these guys pit this time by. They'll definitely be in better position than the rest of the field to try and make it on those 4 stops, breaking it up into 5 stints by pitting on lap 15. It's still doable for everybody that came the first time or the last lap around, but definitely going to be much more comfortable, and as you mentioned, going to be an easier final pit stop for these guys if they can continue to stretch 15 laps at a time.
Yeah, some guys are going to pit. These guys are going to be able to stay out an extra lap. They're going to make it to 16. Looks like everybody here is going to get in clean, get all checked up. Bud Steele, the 21, Gael Brooks, the 5 of Turner. Looks like the 7 of Bridgman, Gary Huffines, and Justin Davis, all to bring their trucks for their first round of service.
All right, so they go 1 more than everybody else. We thought, well, 2 more from the first group. We thought they were going to pit the second time around, and they surprised us here. Paul Witt leading the charge at the moment here. He's got Cody Nagels and Vicente Guerrero, and we'll see where everybody comes out together. We see this whole group. It's going to be led by Philip Bridgman. is going to be coming down the front straightaway. We see Robert Rockin from the first group that pitted up to full speed here. So we'll see if these guys in the apron have a chance to catch up to these guys. It's going to be tough as they're already past them coming into turn 2 here. And now we'll see Vicente Guerrero, Cody Nagels, and Paul Witt just miss their pit entry, but they looks like they all get down okay. Based on the pit time, I don't see any penalties, which is good. So looks like only 2 tire stops and fuel so far. But Robert Rock is going to lead the. It was the second group that came down. Sorry, excuse me. It was the first group that came down, and there's going to be a little bit of a gap back to Philip Bridgman, who is leading the second group. So we'll see Cody Nagels, Vicente Guerrero, Paul Witt coming out of pit road now, and we'll keep an eye on Robert Rock as they come through the tri-oval and see if they catch up to these guys. If that trio that pitted last can hang with this group, or if there's going to be a little bit of a disconnection.
Yeah, I think this front group would have been in good standings without that second group to really make a distance. But Cody and those guys, I think, are going to get a favor. We're going to have a truck come around, and we are going to have a caution flag. Is looks like a Gael Brooks is facing the wrong direction as we speak.
Yeah, up against the wall, and we'll take you back to where it happened to try to understand exactly what happened. So we're looking at the 71 truck, and oh yeah, it just looks like they get checked up. The 5 gets run into from behind. The 71 gets hit from behind with the 55, and that whole pack just kind of working its way into an accordion. And you'll see the 71 here is going to have a big hit to the outside wall just in front of our cameras. Great camera work from our camera crew here tonight. Obviously, all those brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams, and that was big, little bit of a big impact there for that 71. We'll try to grab a better or a different angle of it for you, and then we'll rewind once again. So jumping back to it, and yeah, you see by now it's already started, but it was just kind of a bit of an accordion. We'll take a quick second to rewind that a little bit more and see if we can kind of understand exactly where this kind of starts. And you can see a little bit of pushing there in the middle of the corner. We're going to go to Paul Turner just ahead, and then there's the 7 of Philip Bridgman. Curious to see if there's any issues with the 7, like a blown motor or anything, because the checkup was pretty quick. And okay, maybe, yeah, no blown motors I don't see, but it's really weird that the 5 checked up almost like maybe a netcode issue there. You think, Brandon?
Yeah, at first I was completely on board. I thought it was a blown motor too, just from just how quick the hiccup was, and um, tough break for everybody involved. But I think some of these guys might get away with not using a fast repair. If I'm Gael, I go ahead and use it. But what a tough break, Cody Nagels and those guys had a plan set out. Looked like they was going to stay with that group, and now everybody's going to be right on the level playing field. And here comes that wrench into everybody's plan now. It's going to be thrown off a little bit as everybody will bring those trucks down, and I'm pretty sure fill them up with fuel and get 4 tires, as that we've heard these drivers say. Tires mean a little bit more. Maybe not here at Talladega as much, but if we're under yellow, you might as well get them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think when you're coming down pit road under yellow, you're probably or under green, I should say, you're probably not going to be taking 4 tires almost ever, really, other than maybe in Atlanta. Obviously, we've talked about that tire wear mattering there, but here, I mean, this track is probably where tire wear matters the absolute least. So definitely fuel, maybe some tires for a few, but fuel's going to be the important one. And obviously, with this caution here, that kind of resets the field, as you mentioned, Brandon, but it also gives everybody a chance. So everyone should be able to go and pit 3 more times from here for sure. Obviously, there were a couple that might need to stretch a few extra laps that we were unsure of at the beginning, but now that everyone is pit here on lap 18 under caution, we should be all set for that for now.
Yeah, boom. If you've seen these guys and make that merge to stay in the back and save a little bit of fuel, do you change your mindset? Do you take a little bit off? Uh, how do you stand here?
Yeah, I mean, I think taking fuel is the important thing, right? And like you said, tires probably aren't going to matter too much at all. But I mean, I'm coming down pit road, and you'll probably see a lot of these guys. Probably a lot of these guys will come back down and roll back through pit road once again. It's not too terrible of a field. Obviously, it still takes quite a bit of effort to get to the front. Obviously, we saw the 429, the 14, and 16 do it with pretty solid teamwork there, but also that inside lane was all getting ready to make pit stops, and at that time they were just ready to push and go like hell. But you'll definitely see these guys trying to save as much fuel as they possibly can. I mean, even if you give up the track position, it's not impossible to get all the way back up through the field. But I think most of these guys are going to be trying to top off here and take as much as they can. Well, while these drivers come back down to pit road and potentially get additional service done to their trucks, we are going to step away for just a moment, and we'll be right back after a word from Whiplash SimCams. And as suspected, about half the field's going to come back down and get some extra fuel on that second lap under caution here. And that's going to put us side by side for about half the field, and the rest of everybody else who pitted twice is going to be single file behind that. So that's why you don't see the whole field at least lined up 2 by 2 here as we come through turn 4 and get ready to get back up to speed. Robert Rock is going to be the point man for this restart here in his 171 Chevy Silverado. A couple of Silverados up there in the front row as Charles Johnson's there to the outside. We've got Everett Lane and a Chevy in third. Austin McCarthy is your first Toyota in the field. Eric Laurie there in fifth. Got to go back to seventh to find the first Ford, or actually eighth, as they will restart here in position, and green flag is back underway. We are working on lap number 21, crossing the stripe. 171 on the 9 side by side heading into turn 1.
Yeah, nice clean start here. Oh, looks like maybe a bad shift there by somebody. That's going to be a tough break. It looks right there in the corner. Hopefully, he can get back up to speed, but um, looks like everybody's going to be all right. Looks like maybe lost one. Is one fading off there off the back? No? All good?
Yeah,
All
Tom.
righty. That's good. That's what I like to see him
Oh,
look.
Tom.
Oh, no, we do have one
Yeah,
off
Tom
track.
Dixon went off track and actually had to jump to the pits. Not entirely sure what happened for Tom. Who knows? Maybe a money shift and a blown motor there. Let's see if
Yeah,
we
I was
can.
wondering. I was watching the ticker, and yeah, let's go back and take a look at that. Boom.
Yeah, we'll play it here. So this is a replay, but this is real speed. We'll see if we can understand exactly what happened to the 411 as they come back up to speed. He's going to jump to the outside here. Oh, yep. The black smoke, blown motor.
That looks like a bad shift. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. A little, maybe just a bad shift there, and easy to do. Trying to get up to speed. Trying to you've seen him jump up to that high lane. Really had a good start there, and what a tough break there for the 411. Hopefully, he can get back to the pits and get that fixed. And You never know what can happen. We don't have anybody else to lap down right now, so if a caution was to come out, he would be the one eligible for that lucky dog. But speaking of also some bad luck tonight, I know Gael got into some trouble and got in the wall, but um, maybe we seen how quick he was able to get up there and be up there with Paul Turner and where he was going to come out if we stayed green. We talked about he started 19th, was going to place himself about second or third after that pit stop, but these guys have really amped it up here. Boom. We're 4 wide at Talladega, baby.
4 wide through turn one. It's going to be tight here. The 16, the 12, the or 21, the 071, and the 98 there, and 2 rows wide back there now. It is a 4 wide battle down the back stretch as you see them trying to sort out who's going to take what lane, what spot away. And we're going to settle down to looks like about 3 wide as we enter turn number 3.
Yeah, these fellas can't tell right now, but they got a broadcaster standing on their feet, baby. It's amped up. This is the Talladega I came to love here at Area 51, and these fellas right here are driving like it's lap 70. And this is, to me, is when some of these drivers, display some of their best talents with some of the moves they can make with their teammates and being able to kick around here 4 wide and do the things they do and not touch. It's so tough to do doing 180, 190 mile an hour, especially here with we know how sometimes the system can be with the net code and stuff, but these guys right there, they showed they can handle it 4 wide and maybe get a little preview there as the 24 goes to the inside. Looks like Vicente is going to come down to help pick him back up, and these runs are coming fast. Boom.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely a lot more packed up now, and you see the 429 and the 16, two teammates there leading that outside lane, and they've got Vicente, another teammate now leading the bottom, trying to control as much of this race as they can, as we're going to be at the 1/3 mark here, and the 14 goes all the way to the top, right in front of the 429 to get linked back up, and the 171 is going to surge through the bottom with the 00 of Thomas Holder in tow, the 071. There's the 6 behind them. That is your inside lane. Obviously, the outside lane is the 14, 429, and 16, followed by the 21. And we've got Everett Lane, Charles Johnson, and McCarthy there, the first 3 trucks in that middle lane. And the bottom's starting to split away just a little bit, 3-truck breakaway. We'll see if there's a good run down the back straightaway for either the middle or the outside lanes to catch back up, though.
Yeah, them boys on that inside, Robert Rock, Thomas Holder, Eric Laurie, them boys said, "All right, you guys can have that. We're gonna slowly sneak away here on this inside lane." It was getting a little too hot back there for them fellas, but getting that little bit of a breakaway and a good run there again. Once again for the 171, still just a quarter or a third of the way through this race, but having himself quite a pretty good start to the season is. He will lead this lap come around, but that middle lane led by Vicente Guerrero is starting to build some steam.
Yeah, the 14, the 429, and the 16 pretty well organized there as teammates. And Robert Rock obviously winning our first race of this season on Friday nights is going to be at the point of the inside lane. And now you see that outside lane starting to come together a little bit more. The 14, the 429, and the 16 as the 14 is going to try to cover that middle lane with Everett and Charles there, trying to see what he can do actually to cover the bottom lane as well and get all the way to the lead down there. So once again, split strategy for Nightmare Esports, where they've got one leading the inside lane and 2 leading the outside lane.
Yeah, how about Robert Rock saying, fellas, I ain't staying down here. I'm making my way right back to the front. Goes from the inside to the middle to the outside to put that 171 truck right back up front. And we talk about it. Cody Nagels, Gabe Butler, a lot of these guys say to win these things, you got to have your truck up front and you got to have a little bit of aggression to you when you need it. And that's what Robert Rock is doing. He's saying, hey, I'm going to do whatever I got to do. It don't matter 2, 3 lanes wide. I'm going to keep this 171 up front. And now we're going to see that big move by Team Nightmare Esports make that move to go around him. But it looks like he's going to get a little bit of help here from the 21.
Yeah, Robert Rock, obviously, it had been a few years, 4 or 5 in our count, since that 171 had last made it to victory lane, and he's hungry for another and doing really well so far tonight, running up front with these lead pack, mixing it up, dicing it up here. And yeah, the 14, well, 14 still leads the inside lane, but his two teammates, actually now he's going to jump to the middle as they jump to the middle, entering turn number 1. The 9 and the 00 followed by the 071 take away the inside lane. Robert Rock is still working with the 21 and the 10 in the outside, trying to make as much progress as they can up there.
Yeah, and good move here. And how about some of these drivers? I think some of these drivers seen what Cody Nagels and them boys was rounding up back there on that first segment, seen them guys drop back and was able to go 2 laps and maybe made a gentleman's agreement and said, hey, we're going to turn this into race mode 3 wide. Nobody's saving fuel. If you want to stay with the pack, you better be on the throttle. So Everett Lane's going to be battling back. Looks like him and Robert Rock trying to get a third lane started. Vicente Guerrero will lead that lap. And the veteran of 9, Charles Johnson, he's making his way back up there. Got himself in the inside leading that inside lane, followed by Thomas Holder and Eric Laurie as those guys try to battle back.
Yeah, pretty solid 2x2 action. We haven't seen the outside lane or the inside lane, for that matter, break away too much like we had seen in the past. I'm curious to see, obviously if we get a green flag run where we get through a full pit cycle, a little bit of side draft in there, a little bit of a contact between the 00 and the 16, but curious to see if this field is going to split up. But for now, we've got 19 trucks all in this group here right now, and we're probably looking in the next 2-3 laps for another round of pit stops.
Yeah, and how do you get with your teammate in a mess like this? Is we're 3 wide. These guys are still battling. Everett's going to drop it to the middle lane. Cody is going to be left out on that outside. His teammates go to the middle to block Everett. Oh, it's going to be a big push there. These guys right here really trying to control this, it looks like. And Everett says, hey, I'm coming through. But yeah, like you said, pit stop's coming, and you got to find your teammate. And right now, that's going to be tough.
Yeah, even if you can't pit with a teammate, it's still good to come, when you can with others versus going down pit road by yourself. Obviously, getting hung out in the draft, and if you're the only one to pit, that's usually typically a death sentence, and you're going to be finding yourself lapped down pretty quick after that. But it's yeah, I mean, we have a few big teams. Obviously, TW Motorsports, they've got 6 in the group chat for tonight. High Speed Chasers, it's Gary Huffines, Justin Davis, Philip Bridgman, and William Roberts. They've got 4. Team Bootnaka also has 4 drivers. Roswell's just got 2, Bud Steele and Gael Brooks repping for tonight, and obviously Nightmare Esports, Cody Nagels, Paul Witt, and Vicente Guerrero working well together so far. That's all that we can see, at least in the group chats here, or the voice channels within the league Discord. But it's definitely, obviously there's some in-race chatter for everybody, but you're really strategizing with your team and trying to work together, trying to figure out what your plan is, when you're going to pit, and what moves you might make, or what kind of strategies you might employ. But it is always helpful. It's kind of fun within iRacing, and especially obviously with Discord. It's almost like the old days of when they had tandem drafting in super speedways, and you could dial up another driver directly and talk to them, and but it's kind of fun to get a chance to be able to do that kind of in a group setting where they're all in the same voice channel working together.
Yeah, and with these guys coming to pit, boom, do you think the first group that we seen, Robert Rockin, or those guys that came in, they had the most head of steam. They were up to speed. Really, I mean, you've seen the second group was just coming out of pit road, and they were passing them. Do you be that first group? I mean, I know you want to try to make it as far as you can, but maybe you're the first group, so you're up to speed, and these guys are coming off later, and the groups are shrinking.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take that into consideration. I mean, I was really surprised to see how much that first group was able to start leapfrogging everybody. Obviously, there's not really a huge benefit to pitting one way or the other. It's really just how well you can come down pit road. Obviously no speeding, but how fast you can enter pit road without locking the brakes up and spinning out, and how fast you can go on the access road. You could pretty much flat-foot it, especially in these trucks, pretty much flat-foot it on the apron as you're exiting pit road. But yeah, I was quite surprised to see how much of I think a gap that we were going to see in the lead pack after that first pit cycle, as obviously the 171 leading that group had a really strong charge, and we're probably going to be, I think, probably only like, I think it was like 7 or so we're going to be in that lead pack, but obviously hard to tell with the yellow coming out, and not to discount anybody who was further back in the pack at the time, but definitely some great execution. And I think, like you said, long story long, definitely something to keep an eye on from what they did in that first pit cycle there.
Yeah, and right there, while we're talking about fuel, we about had some hiccups. Charles Johnson slid up. The 429 was there. Some of these guys were trying to get down the inside lane, filled it. These guys know it's time to get to pit road. They're trying to be with their teammates, and had a new leader while we were going through that. William Roberts got a point. He led a lap. So good for the 21 there. Another new face here with Area 51, but we're going to see it right now. Our first group, it's going to be a big group, about 8 to 10 trucks, as these guys going to come pit, led by Cody Nagels, Everett Lane, and Vicente Guerrero.
Looks like everybody gets in okay. No lockups, no contact, and we'll see everybody come down. Cody Nagels grabbing that first spot. Going to come all the way down pit road here. And we'll jump back out to the track on the back straightaway. William Roberts, Justin Davis, Gary Huffines, Bob Fitzgerald, and Philip Bridgman, your current top 5. We'll see if these guys are going to come down this time by, or if anybody is going to try and stretch it another lap. Obviously, we weren't expecting, Nightmare Esports to do that on the first pit cycle. But now that we have, especially now that we have a little more grace in the fuel numbers, I don't think you're going to see anybody stay out here, and indeed everybody's going to be coming down pit road, led by William Roberts. Justin Davis is in, Gary Huffines is in. Ooh, a little bit of a spin there for the 99 and the 98, and they are going to go around, and that is going to be a huge penalty for these guys, and they're going to lose a lot of track position as they get rolling to get their pit stops made. But that is going to be a huge detriment, as most of these other trucks are going to make their pit stops and they'll be long gone by the time those guys can get back up there. And we see now Cody Nagels and Charles Johnson are leading the charge for the pack that pitted first. They're probably going to be caught by quite a few of the drivers behind them, but we see he's going to pass Bud Steele, he's going to pass Gael Brooks, and he's going to pass just about everybody in this second pack that came down, as the 10 is leading that group off of pit road. And we'll see, this is a long enough chain that I think a lot of these guys are going to be able to hold on to this pack, but it's going to take a minute to sort it out as we get back up to speed, and usually it takes at least one full lap to do so.
Yeah, I think that answered our question right there with Cody and those guys coming. I think they paid attention with that first group, and really was able to get out there. I know that second group had a hiccup. I don't think that's what caused as big as the gap as they did have. I think it's coming that first time and just getting right back up to speed. And I tell you, the biggest break out of all that, I believe, was Bud Steele. I know he might have, oh, it looks like he did end up losing that group, but it didn't look like he did collect any damage. Was able to squeeze by there with just a little bit. Looks like he is losing this pack, but grateful that he didn't have any damage and have to get a penalty or anything like that.
Yeah, that is the one nice thing about iRacing. Obviously, it's very difficult to make live pit stops, where contact is allowed, and obviously when you can make contact with their cars. So typically in iRacing, you'll see once you get down to the actual pit stalls themselves, where the concrete is, your car becomes basically a ghost car, and then at that point you can't make contact. So thankfully for Bud Steele, he was able to get into that zone before making contact with the 98 or the 99. Obviously the 98 and the 99 made contact well before getting into that portion, and that's where the damage and the spins that we saw from those two trucks come from. But this is going to put quite a bit of our group back together. Actually, looks like Gael Brooks is actually going to drop off the back of this pack so that he can pick up the 6 of Bud Steele, and they're going to see what they can do to catch back up. I don't know if they're going to drop further back and maybe pick up Austin McCarthy, because he is by himself, but we see Doug Webb and Gary Huffines here a little bit further on back. and they at least have each other, which is helpful. And then Tom Dixon, 2 laps down, we saw him with the blown motor get back out on track, and he is up in that lead pack as well, now being led by Charles Johnson.
Yeah, bounce back there for Justin Davis. He led that second group off, was able to keep that second pack with the lead pack, and now finds himself riding right behind the veteran Charles Johnson, along with his teammate William Roberts right behind him, and then the veteran Dean Wilkinson right there. And I tell you what, let's go. How about we got a familiar face in the chat? I ain't seen him in a while on the track. One of the two guys I've been begging to come back. I tell you, these guys put on one heck of a show when they get behind the wheel. Seth Groover and his brother Patrick, them fellas used to put on one heck of a show. Giving a shout out to Cody, Everett, and Dean. Hopefully, we can see those guys back behind the wheel soon.
Yeah, appreciate a lot of people jumping in the chat. Obviously, Jack Walls, another regular here as well, says hi from Knoxville, Tennessee here tonight. Obviously, Gael chimed in here, and Brandon for a little bit, but we know Seth's watching as well. So Seth, appreciate you being here with us with the broadcast, and again, also just like Brandon, hope to see you back in a truck or a car sometime soon. But we appreciate you hanging out and spending your Friday nights with us at the very least, and yeah, appreciate seeing all the familiar faces in the chat, and definitely, like you said, Seth, much love to you guys as well, and always appreciate this community that we've built here at Area 51 and Green White Checker TV.
Yeah, when I first started racing and I didn't know a whole lot, and I was an anxious young pup, here with the Area 51, and I just wanted to go fast. I had that Ricky Bobby syndrome, and those guys, when I got into a race and I seen the 32 and 54, I knew that there was going to be no fuel saving, no hanging back. When the green flag dropped, the third lane became open, and I knew, hey, follow McDonald's in the monster car, and you'd be all right. So I learned a lot from those fellas, and oh, his BC quit, and that would do it to you here in iRacing. Without that, makes it pretty tough. So hopefully those guys can get back going, boom, because I tell you what, them fellas used to put on one heck of a show here with Area 51.
Oh, absolutely. You knew that they were going to be the ones leading the outside lane no matter what. And it was a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, definitely bummed to hear about your PC there, Seth. We'll have to see if we can get a league-wide GoFundMe set up and make a collection for your next PC. But yeah, lots of fun. From some former drivers in the chat here for tonight. Working on lap number 42 at the moment. Johnson still leads. William Roberts there is ahead of the other lane. Justin Davis is up there, Cody Nagels, and then Dean Wilkinson is in your top 5. Everett Lane there in P6 at the moment. Philip Bridgman, Vicente Guerrero, Eric Laurie, and Bob Fitzgerald the top 10. We go back to Paul Turner in the 14th position. He's the last truck in this group here. And then we're going to find Gael Brooks, who went back to pick up the teammate in Bud Steele, and they are trying to do what they can. But obviously, with just the two trucks, it's gonna minimize the bleeding for, especially for Bud being by himself. But these guys are losing somewhere around probably 0.8 of a second a lap. Obviously, much better than what they would be losing by themselves. But yeah, so Austin McCarthy is actually the only truck I think on the track by himself at the moment. He ran a 54.49. Gael Brooks and Bud ran a 53.30 last time by, and then Cody Nagels ran a 52.84. So there's you see the gaps between those. So definitely harder with just two trucks to make all that speed, and obviously there's with the draft there's quite a few more trucks pushing holes in the air in front of them to help the trucks behind them not have to burn as much gas, and that that hole and that wake that they create really makes a big difference, and also allows that truck in the lead to go faster because of the push that the cars or trucks tonight can get behind them. So we'll see 3 lanes actually working now. The 16 is at the point for the middle. The 9 has gone to the high side with the help of Dean Wilkinson. And then the 21, he has the 071 still on the bottom lane.
Yeah, boom. Seth kind in again. Let's go, Charles. And with whiplash sim cams with this computer being down, we able to get maybe a cockpit view, maybe give them a little insight of what it used to be like. I know Gael spoofed some things up and gave us the ability to move around a little bit somewhere with these cameras and the things we got here, but some little bit of onboard camera footage here, give them a little bit of feel what it's like to be back here with Area 51.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of fun. We can even give him the cockpit view here for our leader, Charles Johnson, working that high line at the moment. I think, yeah, we've got roll bar should be the roof cam here. So we got a roof cam for Charles Johnson. I used to have a rear-facing roof cam, and I don't think I've got it at the moment. I think I've got a gearbox, though. I can at least see from the rear bumper. You can see the number 9 getting a big push bunch of view of that Ford F-150 of the 55 of Dean Wilkinson there as Charles continues to lead on the high side. You see that 3-wide action behind them. We're going to jump back to Justin Davis here. He's the third truck in line on the outside. You see from the roll bar view here as the 9 and the 55 are going to jump to the middle, and the 16 is going to be there as well, and they're going to try and continue to move forward here. Vicente Guerrero is a few trucks back. He's got the 16 there. They're working in the middle lane, trying to maybe move towards the bottom. And we see the 55 and the 9 break away at the front there. But is the 16 going to make a move to the high side? He is. And the 14 here is going to follow him. They're going to head through turns 1 and 2 and see what they can do to get back up to the lead here.
Yeah, some great footage here. All brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. Appreciate those guys coming on board along with 4D Raceware. And it's great to have great partners when it comes to these things. Makes it a lot easier on everybody, and it allows us to give back to the drivers and everybody, and allow fans that can't race with us to tune in here with us on Friday and Sunday nights. So shout out to everybody that helps put this on, and we really do appreciate it. I know I look forward. I'm like a little kid back in the 2000s when it comes to these things on Friday and Sunday night. Sometimes I know we're writing each other guys at noon, 1 o'clock. Hey, it's race day, so appreciate everybody that puts that foot forward to make this going. And these drivers definitely don't disappoint when it comes to these tracks and racing.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, probably one of the most exciting forms of racing. I mean, obviously, to me, just about every form of racing is exciting, except for maybe Formula One. Still exciting to watch, but not a lot of passing at least. But Super Speedway, definitely a lot of action, a lot of high speed, calamity, and we had a little bit of that. Obviously, everybody coming down pit road. We had the first caution just after that green flag pit cycle on around lap 14, 15. Everybody pitting under yellow around lap 18 or so. And so obviously putting the fuel window somewhere between 14 to 16 laps. But with that, I mean, the last time we pitted was lap 34, 35 for everybody in the field under green flag conditions. So we'll be looking, we got 28 laps to go here. So they'll have to probably pit 2 more times to the end of this. But that window is definitely open, and obviously the way that caution fell just after the first green flag pit cycle, where some were going to be able to stretch it on potentially one less stop than everybody else. Definitely, when that came out, it gave everybody a chance to kind of even out on fuel, and now there's a little bit more wiggle room as far as what you can or want to do. It takes away a little bit of the advantage of some of the guys. Obviously, the 14, the 429, and the 16, they had stayed out 1 more lap than everybody else. Obviously, Gael Brooks and a few more had stayed out to go 15 laps before that pit stop at the beginning of the race. But who knows? They got a chance to do it again here. We've whittled down to 14 trucks in the lead pack after the last green flag cycle, and we'll see if any more are going to be left out of the draft here and trying to find a spot to climb their way back in.
Yeah, I definitely think these guys are going to push it as far as you can, and then the same thing on the next one, make that last stop just as short as possible. Um, and that can change the whole difference from going to a can and a half or whatnot on that last one. So, guy, I'm gonna focus in on here. He's made his way right back up there. We got on roof cam with him there for a little bit, or look back at him. Was giving Charles some pretty good pushes. Is that 55? He's peeling off immediately, and he peeled off, and everybody peeled off. Mr. Pit Stop himself. This is gonna be the biggest pack we've seen tonight. Ooh, Cody was flying the pit road.
Yeah, I was gonna actually just about to mention that the window for 2 stops to the end is open, and these guys are gonna take it here from 5th all the way back to 14th in this pack. That leaves William Roberts, Justin Davis, Philip Bridgman, and Paul Witt out on the speedway. Gael Brooks and Bud Steele are going to be further on back, and then it looks like we actually have a second group here of Doug Webb and Austin McCarthy. Gary Huffines and company together. So those three, and then Tom Dixon's the lap car. He came down with the first set of pit stops. So there'll be 3 groups at least here. We'll see if all these guys are going to come down this time by William Roberts again out on the speedway still and leading, and he is going to lead the pack down pit road and see if they can get down to pit road speeds. A little slide from the 21. No harm, no foul. Gets down to pit road speeds. It looks like okay. No penalties for anybody so far, but will there be one for the 21? We'll have to wait and find out, as Gael Brooks is actually going to stretch another lap. So too does Bud Steele, and they're going to come in this time by Cody Nagels is going to come out ahead of Dean Wilkinson, Charles Johnson, and Robert Rock. And Everett Lane, Vicente Guerrero, and Thomas Holder and company are all chasing them, trying to hold on to this lead draft.
Yeah, Seth took the words out right out of my mouth. That was I was getting ready to say, yep, he's speeding, and then we've seen it here, multiple races with Dean and these guys. I don't get how they do it. I would have either one got a penalty or two I'd have been facing the other way. These guys, the talent when it comes to pit road, it's not as easy. You here, especially with iRacing, if you got to really come in and practice one where the rear brake ratio is, and understand how much pressure you can really put to that wheel, and not only that, but you're at 185 miles an hour, and you got to really get down to, I believe it's 55 or so here. And man, what talent these guys have, and not only that, to keep it in that big pack. Those guys, that was a big group there, Boom. So these guys right here now manage it and get to the end. So the show's really about to start now.
Yeah, you see the dashboard on for Cody Nagels here running about 182, 183 as they enter turn 1. So those are the speeds that you're seeing. A little bit of a wiggle there. He's going to move to the high side there. Dean Wilkinson's going to move on through the into the bottom lane. But you can see, like, at these speeds, it definitely makes a big difference. You know, pit road speed being 55 miles an hour, you've got to come down to that speed very quickly, but without spinning out. And it really, truly is easier said than done. I can't tell you how many times I've made mistakes trying to come down pit road during a super speedway race and throw my race away. So yeah, definitely a challenge. And I mean, these guys really do make it look as easy as they possibly can. But we're looking back at it, and it looks like Justin Davis is catching Bob Fitzgerald at the moment. So with that, I think we're going to actually have all the way back to 13th place in the lead pack here. Philip Bridgman is going to be one of the stragglers who is going to lose the pack this time. But Cody Nagels and the 14 of Vicente Guerrero are trying to do what they can to get back up to the front here. 23 laps to go. Obviously, one more pit stop is still needed. And Brandon, Seth kind of threw the gauntlet down for you. He's going to bet you that Charles is going to win. What's your bet for the victory here tonight?
Well, as I tell everybody, I'm a fan of Area 51 first. Area 51 when before a broadcaster. I love the racing here. I love racing here. And it's been tough. This season has thrown some of the most curveballs we've seen in a lot of seasons with Area 51. We've seen Vicente and Cody trim 18 seconds down at Atlanta under a couple green flag pit stops to get almost there to catch Dean Wilkinson and Charles Johnson. And then Robert Rock sneaking one in. Cody saying at the beginning of the season he wants to be a better pusher in a better second place truck. So he wants to, be a better teammate. So it's tough, but we got one pit stop left. I seen him do it and execute them so well, and I think that's what's going to come into play here at this last time. My money's on last week's winner. I'm gonna put it on that 55. He's looked strong all season so far, and he's got his teammates behind him, and he's kept that truck up front. I'm gonna put it on 55.
Definitely a solid bet for sure. The 55's been pretty strong here on Friday night so far early on in this season. And obviously getting the win for Atlanta last week, but I don't know. I'm gonna throw my name, or I'm gonna throw a name in the hat as well, and I think it's gonna be finally time for Cody Nagels to get a win here on Friday nights in 2026. So they've obviously Vicente and Cody have been in a good position for a lot of the season, and I mean we've talked to both of them quite a bit already so far. And obviously Dean's been a very strong front runner, but something tells me that that 16 is going to come home victorious, and we're going to have our fourth different winner here in 4 different races here to start 2026. It's an easy bet, Seth. I will take it. Obviously it's an easy one, but it's any one of those guys. I think between Charles, Dean, and that 16 is going to be a good bet. These guys are all very, very talented at what we do here.
Yeah, and I think one guy that says, "Hey, guys, settle down. I don't have Gabe Butler here tonight, but I'm still Everett freaking Lane, and I can drive this truck." And he's trying to get up there, not as big a team as they got, but as I was looking through that pack, hey, that 24, he's been up there all night also, and we've seen with last season and those guys, them two teams right there, they'll drive at each other and they'll race them about as hard as they come, and most utmost respect between the drivers, but when it comes to these things, these fellas will use their trucks, and right now they got to figure out a plan how to catch the guys on the outside. Is we're gonna have one kiss the wall back there. I think they're gonna be all right, but guys trying to get lined up is big pushes coming from that outside lane.
Yeah, Bob Fitzgerald hits the wall just a little bit there, but he should be able to hold on to this group here pretty easily. Shouldn't be too much of a big deal. And yeah, we're working about 3 wide here, just about. But I mean, I think Nightmare Esports here has really put these guys on notice. I mean, for a while, we'd always talk about. I mean, there are so many great teams and so many great drivers in this league. Obviously, TW Motorsports has been around for quite a long time here and been very successful. Team Bootnaka for a while seemed like they were the absolute juggernauts with pit execution, but I think the 16, the 14, and the 429 are definitely putting people on notice to say, hey, we're here to play, and even though we're just a 3 truck team, but we've got a good shot at it, and I think they've kind of put some of the other teams on notice here, and they really pushed them to kind of step their game up, and obviously no stragglers from Team Bootnaka. I mean, Everett Lane to me is almost in the perfect position all night long. He's been right there, either just inside the top 5 or just outside the top 5. He's not the one up there leading, not the one up there making those big moves. I mean, I think he has a couple laps led for tonight, but he's just quietly there in the conversation. Not always the one leading the lanes, but he will be there at the end, and he's having a really good run so far tonight.
Yeah, and last season we've seen out of the 14 races, 12 different winners. So maybe picking a guy that's already won might not be the thing to do, because we've seen it already this season. Robert Rock snuck up there and got him first, and it's anybody's ball game when you come to a racetrack like this, and you can think you take the best driver, and then all it comes down to teammates and luck. So who's going to be on your side? Is we see a big move there from the 24. These guys getting lined up. I think the window's going to open. What do you say, Boom? Next 3 to 4 laps, if you're going to come, and as we've seen these guys already do it, if you come in the first group and you're the first one to come to pit road, you seem to benefit. So maybe coming as soon as that window opens is a good thing.
Yeah, I think the window's going to be 15 laps to go. We have seen some trucks stretch it to 16 laps, but I think the comfort zone's going to be going at least 2 more laps. Obviously, they've got, they could go a couple extra laps here. Most of these drivers pitting on lap 49 or 50, which gives them, 14 laps past that gives you, I mean, pretty close to the end here. About 10 laps to go, really. So, you do have a little bit of a window to kind of play with, but as you mentioned, we've seen. It seems like being the ones first down pit road happen to be the ones that are coming out towards the front. Now, obviously, that we didn't lose many. Obviously, I think we only lost Philip Bridgman of the lead pack in this last cycle, but that group who's come down first has been the ones who have been leading, and everybody has been playing catch up down pit road or off of pit road afterwards. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. The 55's actually on the apron there a little bit there, but he gets back in line okay. 16, 14, 429, 24, and 55. Your current running order, and that's going to let that outside lane break away a little bit, just like we saw earlier on, and just like we saw in the first race here, in race number 1 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Justin Davis looked like something happened there. Got collected the outside wall and bounced it off a couple times. Don't know if that was um, maybe a connection issue, will something there, but did see him make contact with the wall. Unfortunate for him, but as it could be a break because the window is open. He doesn't have to pit. Now he is going to be by himself. He is going to use a fast repair as we've seen there. But the window is open with the 15 laps to go here.
Yeah.
So now he's just got to hope for a caution, and then who knows from there.
Yeah, no, it's not over for sure. And I mean, the nature of Super Speedway racing, he is not yet a lap down, and everybody else has to come down pit road. And speaking of that, Dean Wilkins is going to lead the charge with Robert Rock coming down this time by. Charles Johnson is in as well. Paul Turner, Bob Fitzgerald, the 5. And one more, that's the 411 of Tom Dixon, who is currently scored 2 laps down. So this 6-pack is going to come down for service here. We'll see if they do anything different than 2 tires and fuel, but I think that's going to be the call for just about everybody, as it really has been pretty much all night long so far. That leaves our top 7 in the lead pack here. The 16, the 14, and the 429 are in this group. And like we mentioned, you probably could go to about 10 laps to go before you have to pit. But again, that window is open now, and we'll keep an eye on that group that came down this time by as they come off of pit road. It's going to be Robert Rock in the lead, and we'll see where they cycle out with the rest of the group. Who's coming down now? 21's going to stay out, but the 16, the 14, and the 24 are going to lead the charge. Oh, the 071 with a slide sideways, and he is going to lose a little bit of ground to Thomas Holder, Paul Witt, Everett Lane, Cody Nichols, and Vicente Guerrero, as William Roberts is going to stay out on the track by himself. Gael Brooks and Bud Steele are going to lead this further on back pack, and they are going to stretch it at least one more lap, maybe more. William Roberts, though, the lonely man, is going to try and probably come down pit road sooner than we'd think. Being out by yourself for too long is definitely a very difficult thing to do. So here we see the 171. So you see him passing the 071 who had the issue on pit road. We'll see where he nets out as far as some of the others, like the 14, the 16, the 429, Everett Lane, and they are pretty even as they come down the back straightaway. That's probably the most progress that we've actually seen from the second pack coming down pit road all night long. So they're going to be able to hang with them pretty easily here. And yeah, great execution for the 14, 24, 16, and 429 to come out and still be in this group here. So that should put all the way back to that'll be for our 8th place right now, actually, yeah. So William Roberts actually stays out on the track. So does Gael Brooks, Bud Steele, Doug Webb, and this group here. So William Roberts is your leader, but he is losing over 2 seconds a lap to pretty much everybody in the field at the moment. And kind of surprised we didn't see him come down pit road. He's going to stay out yet another lap without any drafting help. Gael Brooks does have the help of the 6 and others in this pack back here. Bud Steele, Doug Webb, Gary Huffines, Austin McCarthy, and Philip Bridgman. All these guys, other than Gael, have had issues so far at one point or another. Gael obviously going back to help the teammate. And we got a spinner here. Philip Bridgman's going to tag the back of Gary Huffines. And the 98's going to be backwards on pit road yet again tonight.
Yeah, tough break for the 98. That's twice now. He's had a pit road incident, and I with the 21, I think he wanted to come to pit road with that group, and it would have been close. He was on the far outside, and I think he just made a better decision. I'm not going to try to risk it and tear some trucks up and stay out, and then I just happened to catch Justin Davis at the same time. But up front, as we see now, yeah, Justin Davis is going to pit again along with William Roberts. So these guys definitely need a caution now, and I think that's what Gael Brooks and Bud Steele they're hoping for is maybe something would happen and they catch a break, but gonna have to peel off now and fill those trucks back up. So we're gonna have 11 laps to go and some heavy hitters in that front group, and I don't think it's over. We seen those guys racing each other pretty tough up here, so it's a long ways from over. As Robert Rock finds himself right back up, not the leader right now, but is leading the pack. I think he's gonna take it over right now and
Yep.
finds himself right back up where he left off at Talladega the last time.
He might have also gotten that lap led there. I don't think he's in a conversation for the most led. He may be, but I don't think so. But still, nonetheless, I believe he did get that point there if he didn't already have one. And yeah, the 55 looks pretty strong. The 9 there, the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, we saw him tag the wall just a little bit. They do also have the help of the lap car, Tom Dixon as well. And then they are Paul Turner in the 5 is with them, and I think I'll have to double check, but I think that whole group is all of TW Motorsports. Actually, it's most of TW Motorsports with Paul Turner. I don't actually know if I see Paul in the Discord, so I'm not exactly sure where he's working tonight, but Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson, Tom Dixon, Charles Johnson, Bob Fitzgerald. The only one not in this group in the TW Motorsports chat is the 99 of McCarthy, who obviously had the issues earlier on and has been mired back in that second pack for most of the night. So taking you through the field, obviously we've got all the way back to Paul Witt in 9th there in that lead pack. You're going to have to go back about 10.5 seconds off the lead to find Roberts here. He does have the 10 of Justin Davis helping as well. Davis still 1 lap down. Then you're going to have to go back another 3 seconds. You're going to find Gael Brooks and Bud Steele, and they have Austin McCarthy and Doug Webb. These guys are all on the same lap. They are still on the lead lap working together here, so these 4 spots are for position. Another 13 seconds back, you're going to find Philip Bridgman by himself after the issues on pit road going for a spin. Thomas Holder also finds himself with a speeding penalty, actually, or a pit lane entry violation. He was held for 40 seconds in his pit stall. And then Gary Huffines also had the same issue, likely due to the spin as he came down pit road. And that's pretty much everybody that we have in the field. So we'll keep an eye now for the final 8 laps on this lead pack and see if Robert Rock can bring it home for the second time here in 2026, or if Dean Wilkinson or Charles Johnson behind him has any say.
Yeah, Seth, we were all asking the same thing throughout these first couple races. The top line, it's the dominant one. We've seen it. Cody and those guys used it to their advantage in the first race, and Robert Rock ended up using it to end up winning the race. So, yeah, right now you got to figure out, you got to have a lot of speed and some good connection. And I think these guys really in the back, I think they're trying to get close, but you don't want to overheat those engines too fast. I don't think, 7 laps to go. You definitely want to be there at the end. And I would start, prepping, start talking to the teammates. How are we going to try this? A lot of experience back there in the 16, the 14, the 24s back there with those guys too. So, but what of a heck of a turnaround. Paul Turner in the 5, he just drops to the inside lane. He was involved in that first accident with Gael and those boys back there.
Oh,
so,
we might have another one.
Finds himself.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero is slow on the speedway, and they are trying to wreck ahead of him. Everett Lane through the grass. And no caution. Green flag stays out on the speedway. And we're going to take it back, see if we can understand exactly what happens here. And we'll rewind it a little bit more just so we can get a good idea here. And then we'll take it back to the replay. So, yeah, coming through turns 3 and 4, Everett Lane. And the 14 of Vicente looks like they make a little bit of contact here. The 24 tries to make a move kind of towards the bottom here. And I think the top gets checked up a little bit, but yeah, a little bit of contact there between the 24 and the 16. And man, that's gonna be a big hit. If this stays green, that's gonna be pretty much night ending for both of them. So they're gonna find themselves together, and now they have to work together in order to salvage as much as they can. But a little bit of a shakeup at the front here. The 429 of Paul Witt has his teammate behind him. Robert Rock has his teammates teammates, plural, behind him in the 55 and the 08. They're going to try and work towards the middle or bottom lanes as the 171 gets there. But yeah, it was going to say just before that incident came out, the 171, the 55, obviously the 171 was up at the front there, and oh man, still more slicing and dicing back on in this pack. But the 171, he had that great notebook from the first race of the season and had a really great chance to go and win that race, but he was one of the ones leading that outside pack and found himself in a good position here. But yeah, it's crazy to see how much of a difference. I don't think we've ever actually seen in the sim, at least, the top lane be dominant. But for now, it's Paul Witt and Cody Nagels at the point. It'll be 4 laps to go at the stripe.
Yeah, these guys definitely got to get organized. It was getting a little rowdy back there, and let the 429 and the 16 work their way right to the front without the 14. So Robert Rock finds himself in third, and now these guys they got to work up a playbook. Only 2 drivers up there instead of the 3 that they had, so it's going to be a little bit tougher for them against a little bit of a bigger group by TW. But um, man, I thought we was going to have the big one back there. It got wild as they're going to go make the move now as the 171, the 55, they drop to the inside lane, and nothing the 429 or 16 can do is just try to battle back and hope somebody jumps up there with them.
Yeah, definitely a good crew there at the bottom lane, as now the 171 is going to jump to the tie side. He's going to work with the guys that he worked with for the first race of the season to get that win. And, he's going to get shuffled out as the 429 is going to go to the middle there, and the 16 follows him. And they are working hard as now the 171 gets the 9 of Charles Johnson. Again, that's Seth Groover's pick for tonight, as they are working further on back now. The 5 is going to join the 171 and the 9 there. So the 429 and the 16 are teammates. Obviously, the 171 and the 9 are teammates as well. The 55 in the inside lane has the 411 and the 08 as teammates, and then the 00 is actually a Team Bootnaka driver, Thomas Holder. He is 1 lap down, so he's not really in this conversation here, but he still has the ability to dictate a little bit of what happens here by what lane he may or may not choose. But so far, it's CW Motorsports split up between the middle 2 lanes, and the 2 from Nightmare Esports, Paul Witt and Cody Nagels, are trying to make the charge on the high side here. 2 laps to go. Plenty of action in store.
Yeah, still as a broadcaster, boom, I find myself scooting to more and more to the edge of the seat. We got 2 laps to go, and I thought we was going to get pretty tight there. Dean makes the change to go from the bottom to the middle lane. Going to have a good run coming right here. A big push from the outside. Oh, a truck going to go around. Oh, it's going to be on the apron. We're going to stay green, I think.
Yep, that's the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. He gets spun and crashes to the inside wall, and that is going to end his chances for tonight. Unfortunately, we do stay green. If we get the white flag here, then we will race back to the line for the checkered. It is the 429 and the 16 working hard on the outside. They've got the 5 helping them, but they've got 4 TW Motorsports drivers in the inside lane, and they are going to see the white flag this time by.
Yeah, what a big move there by Paul Turner. He's seen the opportunity to jump down. He makes that move. He's going to lead this inside lane, only leaving 2 trucks up there on the outside for Paul Witt. Now Dean's got to make the decision. Does he push? Do you try to make a move? Do you wait? To me, I don't think you make your move yet. Let that momentum build up. You really want to make it, maybe coming off a 4, coming into that tri-oval boom. It's going to be exciting. What does Dean do? Does he push Paul? Does he jump out? We're about to find out.
The 5 and the 55 with a good push through turns 3 and 4. But oh no, the 5 is going to get turned into the outside wall with the 429. And because it is the white flag, we are not going to see a yellow. It is going to be a race back to the line. It's the 411 and the 55 with the help. And Dean Wilkinson is going to survive the last lap calamity to come home victorious here for the 2nd week in a row.
Man, what a finish. I was standing on my feet. Holy smokes. There is so much to go back and work through on this last lap, but Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, Charles Johnson, Paul Witt, Robert Rock going to fill out the top 5, and Everett Lane is going to pick up 6th out of all that.
Yeah, that was an exciting finish, and it's going to be Dean Wilkinson victorious yet again in that 55 truck, the first repeat winner. And I guess, hey, we gotta give it to you, Brandon. I believe that was your pick for tonight.
I was just Dean's lucky night because I didn't know if any truck was gonna make it back to the end. And hats off to the 55. You really executed there at the end, and those guys, man, what a start for the 55. But what a run there for Cody also and Charles. And man, that was an Area 51 race right there. If you're not entertained after that, don't know what to tell you. And I think that rivalry from last year, Everett Lane, Vicente Guerrero, we can have some brewing here. Boom.
Oh yeah, definitely unfortunate to see that. I mean, we definitely saw. I mean, really just picking them off one by one, no yellows to the end, but that lead pack just kept getting eliminated there little by little. But we're gonna bring up those final results for you there. You saw the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, and he ends up P1 for tonight. And yeah, as Seth Groover mentioned, I think we did pretty good. Yeah. Obviously, Seth, obviously, coming in third place there, picking Charles Johnson. I'll take the second with Cody Nagels and Dean Wilkinson. But yeah, definitely, obviously, giving a hard time, but definitely, yeah. I mean, the three guys that we were picking there at the front had a really great night. I mean, Paul Witt, Robert Rock, obviously there in the top five as well. They also had a really strong night tonight. Obviously, Everett Lane, without the contact with Vicente Guerrero, was having a really good night. I mean, still to come home in P6 after having the issues there. I appreciate that, Seth. But Everett Lane, still a decent recovery there. Obviously, William Roberts, coming home in seventh there, not too bad as well. Vicente eighth. For those guys to recover the way they did, after being in that lead pack at the end and having, some issues, this still is not a bad night at all to hang your hat on. And Bud Steele, Guy Brooks battling hard to get back to P9 and P10. And after Bud lost the draft, Gael left the draft to go pick up the teammate and help out a little bit. So those are the lone two entries for Roswell Motorsports for tonight. And they are definitely, showing strong for those guys. Doug Webb is going to come home in that second pack as well. And then Austin McCarthy, just about everybody there had some sort of hiccup at one point or another to put them back in that pack. Obviously, Eric Glory involved there as well in 13th place. And then we saw in the final pit stop there, Philip Bridgman goes for a spin, and he comes home just ahead of the lead pack there. And then we see Paul Turner. So the contact that he had in that final lap rendered him unable to finish that final lap, and unfortunately he'll be the first car one lap down. Thomas Holder was already a lap down, so was Justin Davis, so that's where they finish in 16th and 17th. We saw Bob Fitzgerald get spun out of the lead pack very late, and unfortunately, after what should have been probably a top 8 run or top 6 or so run for him, that's going to turn into an 18th place finish for the 08, and the last two in the field, obviously Gary Huffines found himself backwards on pit road twice during green flag pit stops. And I will say, to be only 2 laps down after an incident or 2 incidents like that, I would say is still fairly impressive of a recovery. I know it's not where he wanted to finish tonight, but definitely to be backwards on pit road twice during green flag stops and only be 2 laps down is really not the worst position and a decent recovery still. But Tom Dixon, obviously, we saw him go a couple laps down really early after the blown motor on a restart. Actually, the only restart, which is what it ended up being. So potentially a money shift there, and unfortunate. I've done it before. Actually, I've done it while working with Seth and Patrick Groover in a team chat. So I understand that it's very easy to do and very frustrating, but nonetheless, definitely not the night that Tom Dixon was hoping for. But yeah, with that, I think we've got a couple drivers that we're just about ready to talk to here. And we'll try and bring them up here, and starting with the number 9, that's going to be Charles Johnson here in P3 for tonight. Charles, definitely a solid effort. We saw you guys kind of mixing it up throughout the night towards the front of the pack, and able to come home with a solid P3 finish here tonight.
Yeah, and that's the hardest I believe I've ever had to work for a P3. What an awesome race that was. It was white knuckle for a long stretch there. What a fun race.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting watching you guys, and this is our second time here, and what tonight was the difference? Tonight it seemed a little bit more racy from the broadcast view. Did it feel the same way behind the wheel compared to the first time we were here?
Oh yeah, I mean it was just that everybody had really good pit stops and the pack was able to stay together, and it was just uh, hard racing the whole race. I mean, my hands are actually cramped up right now from uh, fighting left, right, down, under, back to the front. It was crazy. I hope the people watching it sure enjoyed it because from the driver's point, it felt like a really fun race to have watched from a spectator view for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we got to see it firsthand as well, and it was quite a bit of fun to watch you guys do battle out there. I mean, so I'm kind of curious. Obviously, you get through quite a few green flag pit cycles here, and obviously you got Dean Wilkinson in front of you. At one point you had Bob Fitzgerald, you had Robert Rock up there in that group. You had, four or five other, of the whole TW Motorsports crew kind of rolling in that final pack there after the last pit stop. What's going through your mind as you come off of pit road and you see teammates all around you and just a handful of laps to go?
Yeah, we were just talking strategy as a team and where we needed to be on the track. We knew Cody and that group would catch us and lay back, try to get a run, come at us, and we were just deciding where do we need to be when that happens so we can kind of side draft and pull them back. And then, I forget what happened. I think I got the 24 a little loose there, and then we got separated, and Cody and I believe that was Vince that got in front of us, and then now we got to decide, okay, how do we get back in front of them? So it was strategy the whole way, talking about where we need to be on the track, how we get back together. I mean, it was intense race the entire race, and it definitely took a teamwork, a full team, just trying to strategize and get through the race and have the best finish that we could.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, definitely a pretty solid effort. Obviously, unfortunately, for a couple of the drivers, not getting the finishes that they were definitely working towards there. Obviously, the '08, coming home after getting spun there, and like you mentioned, some issues with that pack kind of getting split up. But yeah, I mean, definitely a solid effort from the TB Motorsports crew. I'll have to give a shout out to Seth Groover. He was with us pretty much all night long, chatting it up and hanging out. And he threw the gauntlet down. He told Brandon that he needed to. He bet Brandon, who's going to win tonight, and he said it was going to be you. And obviously, so obviously he said he picked you, Charles, and he did say you monster. Obviously, those are his words, not mine. But just wanted to pass that along and appreciate that he was in the chat. But he did pick you, and turns out his pick, my pick, and Brandon's pick all finished 1, 2, 3. So definitely an exciting night, and it seems like you guys were working that execution pretty well and staying with the pack all night long.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the vote of confidence there. I wished I could have got a win for him, but to be honest with you, I never was thinking about winning. We were trying our best to get Rock, to keep Rock up front because kind of the way we do it, the one that gets out of the pits, the last pit stop first out of the last pit stop, we try to help that driver and keep him up front. So um, me winning that race was never on my mind tonight, but just trying to get a top three, top four finish, and try to help Rock get a win. But we ended up getting Dean a win. So congratulations to Dean, and man, I'm glad one of my teammates won it for sure.
Yeah, definitely big help, obviously, for you and the rest of the TW Motorsports crew to get Dean two in a row, and hopefully you can flip that, and he can give you the chance to get you back to victory lane at some point here soon. But obviously, as you mentioned, pushing that first truck. that comes off pit road at the end to the win is always the plan, and definitely worked out for you guys tonight to get Dean up there, and want to roll that red carpet out for any thanks or shout-outs you'd like to give for that third place finish there tonight, Charles.
Yeah, thanks to my teammates for working with us tonight. I wanted to apologize to Everett. I did get him a little wobbly there. I never ever want to do that to any of the drivers. I feel like every driver should have the opportunity to have the best finish that they possibly can that night. He was able to gather it up, and I think he ended up there in the top at the end anyway. So, but I did want to apologize to Everett for that because I never want to do that. I want to push everybody clean, stay center of them, and try to help people when I can. But at the same time, your commitments to your teammates. I want to thank you guys for broadcasting and thank everyone for coming out and watching Green White Checker TV. And I hope you enjoyed the show.
Yeah,
Thanks,
definitely.
guys.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it. Good to get a chance to talk to you now 2 weeks in a row here, Charles. And obviously, we understand and know how much you guys do behind the scenes, especially for yourself, and how much it takes to make this league run. So, just want to say thanks to you as well, and congratulations again on a third place finish.
Yep, appreciate it, guys. And we'll see you Sunday.
Yep, see you on Sunday. All right, that will be the third place interview. Now we got my pick. Second place, Cody Nagels. Seth Groover, obviously you saw him in the chat there. He threw it on the gauntlet and said, he was going to pick Charles, and Brandon said he was going to pick Dean Wilkinson, and I picked the number 16 there. Obviously, we talked to you pretty much every week, I think. So what that second, third, and second place finishes for the first 4 weeks of the season. But before we get into more of that, take us through what it took to get to that second place finish there tonight.
Really, it was just teamwork again. I mean, clearly we were outnumbered, which is the fun of it on Friday nights. Um, it's essentially, it seems like a lot of these races come down to R3 versus TW, and it becomes a little bit of a numbers game, but you can win it with side drafting and just using the draft to your advantage. We got a good draft off Thomas Holder, built up momentum on the bottom, and then we're able to shoot up. And Paul got the side drafting pretty heavy. I think if I would have just arrow pushed him through the corner, we'd have been fine. But I didn't have anyone behind me, so I was trying to give him everything I had. But him and Dean, or not Dean, I think it was Paul. I can't remember. But whoever he was side drafting they were like really, really close. And I hit him. I was fairly square. I was a little offset right, but when I sent him down the track just enough, it's what got him and Paul connected together, and from there is when the wreck happened. So I hate it that I got into Paul. I was trying to get him to win. We didn't really have a lot of help out there, but I mean we were able to contend. I was gonna push him the whole way in. I'd like to get him a win. I mean I'm gonna say I don't care about getting the win, but I want to really take care of my teammates first and try to get them in victory lane. So, going into next week, I'd like to maybe get Paul there, do what I can as a teammate, and set ourselves up for a playoff run.
Yeah, and I think just from the beginning of the race, I think you were automatically in teammate mode. And can you walk us through a little bit? You were right up front at the very beginning, seen as right off you came off turn two, you dropped to the back. You guys were able to go 2 laps. What was the mindset from the beginning of the race with that plan there?
The lap 32, um, the money lap of whoever leads out of the paid drivers gets $10 bonus, and my thought was, well, if we chill and we make lap 16, everyone would have to pit before us. If we happen to go green, we would pit again on 32, which is the money lap, so we would hit the line out of pit road, and it'd be the first one out of us to exit would be the one to get the money, because anyone that pits before us, they would be on the track still trying to catch us. So they would really be out of contention for that because they wouldn't catch us until the back stretch. So it was really just a matter of trying to get one of us a little bit of money. Figuring, it's the early part of the race, we can kind of chill a little bit, save a little bit of fuel, and then take less on the back end depending on if the race was to get stretched out a little bit. But, we had a caution or two. I don't exactly know what the number was, but it was pretty low as usual. So there's always a little bit of pitch strategy with that. they got the track position on us when they early pit. They were able to get up to speed quicker when they passed us, and it forced us to be in a position to where we had to try to beat them on the bottom with just 3 guys. It's kind of tough, but once Vince got wrecked, I thought we were cooked for sure, but we were able to get draft off Thomas Holder, build up momentum with just the two of us, and we were able to tandem past everyone. Then we got in position, and I thought we had to race, but fell a little bit short. Glad Paul was able to get P4, but I really wanted to see him in victory lane tonight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely still a solid effort. And, you mentioned obviously the 14 making some contact there with the 24, unfortunately, and that put them a little bit off the pace for that lead pack. But yeah, for only having 2 trucks up there towards, within the top, final 10 laps or so, still a valiant effort. And I know we mentioned on the broadcast, it was kind of interesting to see that shift. Obviously you guys were the ones who stayed out much later than anybody else had. We saw you pull out of line on the back straightaway of lap one to go back there and link up with your teammates and try to save a little bit of fuel. And obviously that paid off and let you guys get another 2 laps into the run over the people that pit first. But we did see how much of a difference that made, and obviously you talked about that adjustment. It seems like that was kind of an adjustment on the fly, where you realize like, hey, if you can pit first, it's going to make a big difference to get out first and have that head of steam down the back straightaway while everyone's still trying to get up to speed. But it seems like you guys were definitely paying attention to that after that first green flag pit stop just before the yellow came out.
Yeah, for sure. We would have caught them, but it would have took us probably about a full lap, I think, to get up to momentum, catch their draft, to get caught back up to them. But you can't really afford to just stay on the track and run a bunch of laps when the leaders pit if you don't have numbers. What I've noticed is it seems like if you have 4 that can get on and off pit road together, that seems to be like the optimal amount. Anything less than that, and you're not able to turn optimal lap times to stay up to speed with the pack. So with us having 3, we really can't pit off strategy too much unless we're able to pull somebody. So it kind of limits us a little bit on what we do, but I like it because it kind of creates a challenge for us and a little bit of a dynamic where we, if we're down a little bit in numbers, we got to work a little bit harder, and I do think it makes us better drivers, and I think it's going to prepare us uh, potentially for a playoff run. Um, I think I'll get a win here at some point, but I'm really not too worried about it. Like I said, my mindset is try to put teammates in victory lane and put as many of us in the playoffs as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's 3 runner-up and one or well 4 podiums for 4 races so far. So I think you are for sure putting yourself well into the conversation for that playoff run, and obviously still a solid effort and finish for Paul tonight, just outside of the interview spots, and then Vicente still having still a solid top 10 even after the contact late. But yeah, I mean, you guys seem to be doing exactly what you want to be doing and putting yourself in good positions. So I think as long as we keep talking to you guys, especially you on a weekly basis, I think you'll be in good shape. But obviously, a little bummed, you didn't get the win tonight. Obviously, with you being my pick, but I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk to you as a winner sometime soon, Cody, and we'll roll that red carpet out now for any thanks or shoutouts you'd like to give for that second place finish here for the third time in 2026 here tonight.
Yeah, of course, I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast, Boomer and Brandon. I love listening to you guys, and the analysis of the race is second to none, in my opinion. Um, Congrats, Dean, on the win. Very good job. It's a fun league. I really, really enjoy running with these guys, and it's kind of 2 different dynamics between Friday and Sunday for me. I really, really enjoy Friday night. I kind of run with the guys that I consider my off-track friends and guys that I have ran with for years on here, guys that I cut my teeth with. It's a little different on Sunday, but it's just like I said, it's 2 different dynamics. I try to run, it seems like I'm up front, but I really do try to run 2 a little bit different styles. I run a little more aggressive on Sunday, but I thank everyone in Area 51, the drivers, for this fantastic league. Got a lot of good drivers in it. Charles for adminning, Bud behind the scenes for everything he does, and Paul and Vince for just the friendship, not only teammates, but the friendship that I've had with them through the years has been pretty special.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun to have buddies like that that you can race with and have a good time with. And definitely appreciate your kind words as well, Cody. Definitely appreciate getting a chance to talk to you a little bit here, especially early on this season. And wish you continued luck and hope to see you grab that checkered flag here sometime soon.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we've got one more, and familiar voice. Obviously, we talked to him last week, victorious, and once again, 2 weeks back to back in a row. Dean, definitely saw a really great effort from a lot of the TW guys towards the later stages of this race, and you know. Charles and others helped you get back to victory lane twice in a row this for this season, so it's got to be a good feeling to get a couple wins here early on in 2026.
Sure does. Good to have some good teammates because without teammates, you're not going very far in super speedway racing. So no, I really appreciate my teammates.
Dean, congratulations, 2 out of 3, and hey, these fellas was probably glad you had to miss one because it would probably be early running there for the 55. I'm gonna give you your flowers. I know you're gonna thank your teammates, but we seen it over and over and over. When Seth Groover popped in the chat and said, I'm picking Charles. Who you got? And it's gonna come down to pit stops. I thought there at the last one, and you're Mr. Pit Stop, man. How do you keep executing this when it matters most? We've seen a lot of guys lock them up. How do you adjust for your break? I mean, how do you keep just executing this over and over and over each week?
Just practice, practice, practice. You know, that's all you can do. I yeah. Most of my practice is actually done in the racing during the race. I don't do a lot of practice outside of the race. So yeah,
We talked about that a couple times. You kind of seem to be building a notebook as far as what you can try and do, and we saw a little bit of a differences in pit strategy. Obviously, when the 429, the 16, and the 14 stayed out to lap 17 before the first yellow flag came out. And I think you were one of the ones in that first group that pitted that absolutely, blew their doors off. Obviously, they probably would have kept with the pack, but you guys kind of saw that pitting early seemed to be the move, and it kind of seems like that was what strategy you kind of kept with for the rest of the night, and it seemed like it was working pretty well. And would that be one of the things that you think that gave you guys the opportunity to kind of be controlling some of that lead pack there as you came off of pit road for the final time tonight?
yeah. But I think it was by necessity because some of our teammates were low on fuel and they had to pit early. I could have went a couple more laps and pitted with the 16 and whatnot, but we wanted to stick together. So I think it was just yeah yeah, I don't know. I think it was just the way we came out, all and more cars to get up to speed and get ahead of them.
Yeah, definitely seemed like you guys were in good shape, and obviously, Brandon gave you the nickname Mr. Pit Stop there, and you guys executed on pit road pretty brilliantly all night long. But yeah, I mean, it seems like you guys have all cylinders running there at TW Motorsports. Obviously 2 wins in a row and quite a few teammates there. Obviously Charles getting another solid top five tonight. Robert Rock in the top five. I know that Charles had said that you guys were trying to push Robert to another win, but it seems like you guys are in pretty good shape and firing on all 8 cylinders here early on in 2026.
Yeah, I was hoping to get Rock a win there, but he put the block on that on Cody, and when he did that, I kind of lost. Yeah, we lost our line, but I don't even know where did he finish.
Robert Rock fifth.
Fifth. All right, well, you didn't do too bad. That's good for us. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to look at the standings, but yeah, no, we got a lot of good guys in TW, and like Cody said, we I think we had the numbers tonight, and but I mean those two, him and Vicente, I mean those guys are crazy good, like yeah, unbelievable. We're lucky to race with those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys definitely put on a show. I mean, obviously, Cody had mentioned, it's like you mentioned that it was kind of fun for them to, kind of be a little bit of the underdogs and have to work a little harder at it. Obviously, you guys had the numbers and the execution, but Seth Groover did want to make sure you knew that you did beat a pro. He was calling Cody a pro, especially for some of his pit road entries that we got to see on the broadcast. But I mean, you guys were right there with him and hung pretty strong. And obviously, definitely, I think a testament to you guys for getting that win. Obviously for the team finishing as well as you guys have in the last couple weeks, and obviously for yourself to get 2 wins in a row, definitely something special, especially in a league where, obviously it is Super Speedway racing where everybody does have a chance to win, but it definitely takes a lot of hard work and a lot of good execution to make that happen. So definitely, I mean, obviously it's early in the season, but I feel like this has got to give you, some confidence and some momentum going forward, to carry this through towards the later halves. I guess maybe the question I want to ask is, you have this momentum now. How do you keep this up? How do you keep this going, so you can carry that through into the later portions of the season and then later into the playoffs?
Well, the same as I always try to do: stay out of trouble. Have your teammates around, work with your teammates, have them work with you, and especially on the super speedways, Atlanta is a little different. That one there, you really gotta um, keep your eye on the other drivers so you don't get involved in anything. But yeah, just keep your nose to the grind and stay safe. Keep away from the wrecks.
Well, you guys did a pretty solid job at executing that tonight, and we'll give you that red carpet rollout now. Any chance for thanks or shoutouts you'd like to give for that second win in a row in 2026 here?
Yeah. Well, thanks to my teammates. Tom was a couple laps down, but he gave me that final push to the checkered. So I appreciate that, Tom. Thank you. And of course, all my other teammates. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast, because again, like Cody says, it's one of the best. I'm going to go back and watch it. And thank you, Brandon, for your vote of confidence as well. Appreciate you picking me. Um, and Area 51, again, great race league. And the drivers, I'll keep saying it, without a bunch of good drivers, you don't have good races. So thank you, drivers.
Yeah, well, if it's any consolation, I couldn't have picked you because obviously Brandon had already picked you, so no
I
hard
won't
feelings
hold it
for.
against you.
Yeah, all right,
I
just
won't
making
hold it
sure.
against
No, but yeah, congratulations, Dean. Obviously, hard fought victory and second one in a row. So, hopefully get a chance to talk to you again very soon, and good luck going forward.
Thank you. You guys have a good weekend.
Alrighty, appreciate that from Dean. Yeah, definitely. I mean, appreciate both Cody and Dean there. I mean, obviously everybody usually thanks the broadcast, but definitely appreciate the kind words. And we have a lot of fun bringing this to the league and to all of our fans and friends um, watching in the stands. And obviously we got a couple former drivers in the chat tonight. That was a lot of fun. Really appreciate Seth Groover hanging out. Obviously, I know Jack Walls had chimed in, said he was watching along too, and yeah, we really appreciate hanging out. Obviously, Seth, we're racing Fridays and Sundays. If you don't have a PC, you have to come out and hang with us, and it's always a good time. And definitely, if we can't see you out on track, at least appreciate seeing you in the chat, and appreciate you as well. And definitely fun to have that conversation. And yeah, I mean. Um, Kind of a similar race to what we saw last week at Atlanta, Brandon. We had the one yellow early on. It didn't really shake up the pit strategy too much, but they did make it a little bit easier. And I mean, that's kind of what we saw here again tonight. And it came down to TW Motorsports and Cody Nagels and the Nightmare Esports crew, and they put on a heck of a show to the end here.
Yeah, they did. And it's just came down to that execution, and it's starting to get into the habit. Atlanta, same thing. Look, definitely a smaller track, but you definitely hit it right. No, right on the head. It brought the same type of vibes, and man, it just brought an action-packed night. With Seth being in the chat, and I mean, it took me to me just when I first joined Area 51, and the type of racing that it can bring. It can bring some exciting racing, and you get all types of drivers and different styles and everything else. And but you got to put it all together here, and it's just awesome to see when all these guys do it and able to do it under yellow green. It's it turns out to be an awesome, great race. And if this is any preview of what the rest of the season's going to be, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. And hopefully Sunday brings the same type of atmosphere as they've been rolling over there. Cody and those guys, they've been dominant. They've been up front in a lot of those races, picked off some wins. So um, it's just exciting to see what that's going to bring. Also,
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun so far. I mean, obviously we're 4 races in here on Fridays. We'll have our fourth race of the season here on Sunday. Cool to bring back the Gen 6 cars as well. Obviously, Cody Nagels had his victory there on Sunday. Still looking for that race win here on Fridays. John Ellis Jr., Cody, and Landon Velicky have been the ones grabbing that checkered flag over here, and now Dean Wilkinson's got 2 here on Friday nights. Vicente had 1 in the second race, and Robert Rock took home that first checkered flag in a little while in the first race of Fridays. So definitely a lot of fun to be had. And yeah, we're bringing it to you all here on Green White Checker TV as always. So we'll be back next week at Daytona on February 6th. And then we'll go back to Atlanta again February 13th, followed by Talladega the following week.
lost you there, boom. Might have some, might be having some technical difficulties here with a little broadcast, but we'll be going to Talladega. I believe you said on the 20th. Was that boom?
Yeah, yeah, sorry for that. Had some difficulties. I guess my USB stuff just all reset. But yeah, so Talladega will be the 20th of February. Our lone visit to iRacing Superspeedway will be there on the 27th. We'll go back to Daytona on the March 6th, Atlanta March 13th, Talladega, Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega to finish out the season. Obviously, just add 2 days later, and that'll pretty much be the Sunday schedule. So they'll be going this week to, well, they'll have their race at Talladega in 2 days' time, and again, it'll all be here on Green White Checker TV. And don't forget about some love for the Tuesday series. Definitely, obviously, we're not doing the broadcast in-house here at Green White Checker TV anymore, but a huge shout out to P1 Broadcasting for covering that in the IndyCar series here at Area 51. Obviously, we still have the IndyCar series. It's still going strong. It's the 20th season for Area 51 and Tuesday IndyCar, so a lot of really great action there as well. They will be at Atlanta next. Excuse me, no, they were at Atlanta this past week. They'll be at Michigan on February 3rd, Kentucky February 17th, Nashville February 24th, and Kansas the following week on March 3rd. So there's plenty of action on Tuesdays still. And shout out to the P1 Broadcasting Group for taking that off our plate, giving Gail Brooks and us a little bit of a break on the Green White Checker TV side of things. So we're just running the show for Fridays and Sundays, but still having a lot of fun doing it. So yeah, thank you for taking over for a second there, Brandon. And apologies for the audio and technical issues on my end, but yeah, trying to think of what else to say. But MFC, we're going to go back to Daytona for next week, and what's the biggest difference that you think that we're going to see there in that next race, Brandon?
Just with the guys, I think they seen tonight. You get back there for the second time around the same group of guys, you become a little bit more comfortable, and the racing picks up. One thing I want to point out is um, quiet, but making his name known is Philip Bridgman. He finds himself fifth in points right now, just quietly working his way up. And another new face of the league, Austin McCarthy, finds himself in 10th. So these guys are going to keep clicking off them points. And while we're talking about all these names winning and top threes, some guys are making their name known quietly. So guess see if the intensity picks up at Daytona as well.
Yeah, definitely solid night. Obviously, not the results that Philip or Austin really wanted. Obviously, Philip back in 14th, Austin in 12th. We saw the 99 of Austin McCarthy get caught up in a spin from somebody else coming down pit road, and unfortunately, that kind of put a little bit of a dagger in the back for his night tonight. But nonetheless, I mean, a lot to be proud of, especially for jumping in here. Like you mentioned, Brandon, there's definitely an art to, knowing other drivers' tendencies and, what you can expect of them. How do you race around them? Can they help you? Will they help you? Or are they not going to help you? Are they going to hang you out to dry? Or, can you consider them there's so much that can go through your mind. Obviously it's in the sim, but I mean, at 181 miles an hour, it still comes at you really fast on the screen, and you have split seconds to make decisions. And if you don't know the guys that you're racing around, that can make it even more difficult. So it's definitely props to Austin and Phillip there for coming in early and having a strong showing, I'd say, for the early parts of the season here. So wish them and all the drivers here at Area 51 continued luck, and hopefully get a chance to talk to all of them by the time the season's done. But yeah, I think probably enough rambling from us for now. But as always, I want to thank you guys. Thank the drivers, thank the league, thank the fans watching in the stands. It was a lot of fun. Obviously, hanging out with Seth and others tonight. So appreciate everybody who's involved with this whole thing, and hope you all have a great night. Hope to see you again on Sundays. Check out P1 Broadcasting again for the Tuesday IndyCar stuff. It's still going on. Just not in-house at Area 51 anymore. And yeah, we'll be back in 2 days and ready to have a lot more fun with you guys. And appreciate everything that you guys do for us. So with that, we'll say take care. Hopefully everybody's surviving the cold weather out there. Even down in Tennessee, we're getting single-digit lows, and from a guy from Michigan, I love it. I'm happy for it, but definitely some cold weather out there. So stay safe, stay warm, take care, and we'll catch you in the next one.